comic book fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner. I'm your host as always, Cammy. Now we got killer contests, we've got killer spectacular reviews, and announcements at the end, so let's get right into it, shall we? First up, the pick of the week from Image. We have Haunt, #1, written by Robert Kirkman, and art by Ryan Ottley, and a cover by Todd McFarlane. So this is the whole Kirkman-McFarlane comic everyone's talking about, only McFarlane's really actually doing covers. But hey, it's nice to see him back in work, I guess, and he's co-creator. Whatever. It's Ryan Ottley's pencils that really matter in this situation. We follow two brothers, Kurt and Daniel. Daniel is a priest, but he kind of seems to be one of those badass priests. Kind of like Preacher, kind of, maybe? Where, you know, he's sleeping around with girls, but he's a priest. He's supposed to do this. But he's the only one who can take his brother's confession. His brother is like a special ops kind of guy, and he's always killing, and every time he comes back from a mission, he confesses all of his sins to his brother. Brother's just sick of it, whatever, let's get this over with, you're wasting my time. But on this one, most recent mission, Kurt was supposed to save this doctor who was doing all these interesting experiments. Well, after he sees the experimentees, the atrocities that this scientist doctor has created, Kurt kills him right there and rescues the poor subjects, pretty much. And he gets captured by another organization. They want to know what happened to the doctor's notes, his notebook. He always kept it on him. He doesn't know. They kill him. And so he haunts his brother. That's right. That's where the title comes from. He haunts his brother, who's a priest. And he tells him of things like things happening. Hey, could you please go, you know, comfort my ex-wife. Ex because I'm dead, and she's an ex now. And so he does, and sure enough, the people who killed him want to kill his wife too, just to make sure everyone's shut up and everyone's hush-hush. Well, the brother, the priest is in the middle of this, and his brother's spirit combines and joins with him. And when they join, when their powers combine, they become this half Spider-Man, half Spawn type creation. And knowing Todd McFarlane, and he was on both his properties, kind of suits him beautifully. So, it's a very cool series. This guy is like a fucking maniac now. It kind of reminds me of Venom, only a little for Image now. Don't know if this is taking place in the Image superhero universe, but I'll tell you one thing. I like where this series is going. It's a very strong first issue, and if you got $3 to spend on something new, I highly recommend this. You might be blown away like I was. Now on to the Fast Five! First up from Dark Horse, we have Sir Edward Grey, Witchfinder, #4. Now, I keep picking this book because, you know, the story's okay. It's Mac Mignola. It's good, creepy stuff. But, oh my god, it's Ben Stenbeck's art with Dave Stewart's colors. I cannot rave about this series enough. There's only one issue left, but we follow Sir Edward Grey going after the Creature. Creature is roaming out on the streets, just causing havoc everywhere. This organization, the Heliopic Brotherhood, want the bones that Sir Edward has that control the beast, but they can't control the beast. No one can. And at the end, we even get a little cameo by Gilfried. So if you're a BPRD Hellboy reader, you know Gilfried. You know what's up. Killer stuff. Art alone is gorgeous. Highly recommend this series, just for the art alone. Next up, from Boom Studios, we have Irredeemable #7. Now, this chaotic Superman story continues to unfurl, as Charybdis explains how he was on to the Plutonian even from the start. And the Plutonian explains to him how people always, you know, want him to help out, or this not good enough, or why can't you do this, why can't you do this? They're never grateful. And how this one piece of alien technology really accidentally fell into the wrong hands as he gave it to a scientist to experiment on, and it just went haywire, and that's how that little plague that killed all those children happened. Meanwhile, the other team of Charybdis are on in his headquarters trying to figure out, you know, where they're at, what to do, and they come across a couple of rooms that are dedicated to Betty Noir when he just can't get over her, apparently. And even Encanta is a sex slave there, and she's an old superhero, so it's pretty creepy that way. And at the end, we find out that Charybdis actually has all this power, and his brother is actually leeching off him, and how he might go toe-to-toe with the Plutonian. Killer stuff. Can't wait to see what happens next issue after that cliffhanger. Next up from Vertigo, we have Sweet Tooth #2 by Jeff Lemire. Now, issue 1 came out a couple weeks ago. It was only $1 for the first issue. That's a deal. If you didn't pick this up, there's no excuse. It's only $1 to get hooked on this series. Well, #2, we find out a little bit more about Jeopard, the guy who saved Gus, the half animal, half human hybrid. And Shepherd lets him know, hey, you're not the first guy out here after the sick happened who's an animal, human hybrid. There's actually a whole place dedicated to, preserving you people called the Sanctuary, and I'm going to take you there. So on their journey, he's starting to realize that he's really valuable. Everyone wants to try to kidnap Gus for their own agenda. Well, it's Shepherd's duty to, fight all these kidnappers, and even if he gets injured, he's taking it for Gus. So it's very interesting to see how this series is progressing. Issue 1 might not have had me hooked, but Issue 2 is really starting to rub me the right way. Next up, from Icon, we have Criminal the Sinners, #1. Brubaker and Phillips are back on Criminal. It's great. We follow Tracy Lawless as he's kind of losing his step as being a very reliable hitman. He's always flaking on jobs. He's doing a lot of research on his targets, making sure that they actually deserve to die. And his employer's like, I'm not paying you to do that. I'm paying you to just kill the person. But his employer has someone else he wants him to investigate. Whoever the hell is killing all these people in his town. He doesn't know if it's a new gang coming in, a new drug syndicate. We don't know what, but Tracy Lawless is up to the task. Well, he's kind of given the task of figuring out what is going on in this city. Is it kids? Is it another rival gang? He doesn't know. But if that isn't bad enough, he has an agent from the army looking into his case and seeing if he can find the deserter. That would be him, and bring him to justice. Great stuff. I can't wait to see what happens. Criminal's back. Let's all rejoice and take the rest of the day off. And finally this week from DC we have The Mighty #9. Now this is the other chaotic Superman title coming out. Absolution was out too. There's a lot of these types of series coming out all in the same week. But anyway, follow Alpha 1 as he's going around the world doing this thing, and Cole hacks into his computer and figures out that he's not all that great of a guy anyway. He planted a bomb underneath a baseball stadium, and it's up to him now to go rescue, well, not rescue, but dismantle the bomb and make sure no one gets hurt. Well, Alpha 1's very proud of Cole for finally figuring this out, and he says, well, now I gotta go deal with you. But when he goes to Cole's apartment, because that's where the tracer is, he discovers in the microwave a severed hand from the previous commissioner, and it's all, the symbol on the hand's all heated up, making Alpha 1 think Cole was there, and he gets pissed. He just, like Richards and Doom, it's Cole! While Cole is actually freezing his hand on his way to the baseball stadium just so he's not tracked. Well, Alpha 1 does catch up with him, and he pretty much burns his tongue out of his head and lets him drive off the road to his demise. Very fucked up stuff. Will Cole survive? Who knows? Tune in next issue. Very, very creepy stuff. Well, comic book fans, that does it this week for Cammy's Comic Corner. If you want more Cammy's Comic Corner goodness, head on over to www.cammyscomicorner.com. From there, you can subscribe to us on the RSS feed or on iTunes. And while you're on iTunes, go leave a review. See what happens when you email me your review. Also, if you like any of the kick-ass t-shirts that you see me wearing, head on over to www.deadlinegraphics.net and send Kelly an email. He has a whole catalog of Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, what have you. There's only one name that I trust when it comes to comic book t-shirts. That is Kelly over at deadlinegraphics.net. And also, huge shout out to Rising Sun Creations at rsc-online.com. They specialize in the best of U.S. comic books, manga, and collectible toys imported straight from Japan. All at one online store and physical location store. They have a contest this week. If you want a copy of The Torch #2, 1 in 25 sketch variant edition, send me an email to cammyscomiccorner@gmail.com with your shipping address, and please live in the United States. Or if you want Avengers Invaders #1, 1 in 50 sketch variant by Alex Ross, this is big stuff, and you live in the San Diego area, head on over to Rising Sun in Mission Valley, walk in and tell them the secret word Excelsior to anyone working there, and you'll get hooked up with Avengers Invaders #1, 1 in 50 sketch variant. First come, first serve, so get down there as soon as possible. Huge thanks to Rising Sun Creations for putting on these kick-ass contests. That does it this week for Cammy's Comic Corner. Episode number 100 is next week. What am I going to do? Probably a lot of big giveaways, so tune in and find out. This has been Cammy's Comic Corner. I have been your host, Cammy. Sayonara, suckers.